It was a 9-goal thriller in Etihad Stadium as Manchester United were ripped apart by Erling Haaland, who of course smashed the Hattrick scoring record. 3 consecutive hat-trick in a row, right at their home crowd. Never has it been done. What a wonder kid that guy is. Now, it wasn't a good time in Indonesia, as report had it that over 150 people lost their life in the stadium mishap. We'll give you details about that later. Now, last week, done and dusted, election completed, new board members for the Nigerian Football Federation. What does the future hold for our sport? I'll give you all the details after this break, so don't go away. All right, Kule, welcome to the program today.
Yeah, top of the day to you, Brownson. It's great to be here. I can tell you that I really had a very eventful weekend because Arsenal, did a great job against Tottenham to win, and also I witnessed that Etihad massacre. The Phil Foden and Erling Haaland show at the Etihad was indeed it was a total pasting of Manchester United in that game, and also I'm also quite happy that we have a new person in the helms of affairs of Nigerian football.
Yeah, that's what it is. Let's begin the show in full, talking about the Nigerian Football Federation. Now, we now have President Ibrahim Musa Gusau as the president of the Nigerian Football Federation. He would run the helms of the affair of the association or the federation for the next 4 years, from now to 2026. That's a long time to develop our football. Now, the past presidents, a couple of times have said that 4 years is not enough to run football. I hope Gusau, before his 6th re-election in 2026, will not bring that as an excuse, Kule. But let's run through the full board membership of the federation. Now, president is Ibrahim Musa Gusau. First vice president, Felix Anyasiagu, first vice president. Now, we have chairman of chairmen. I'm really trying to make sense of this office, but that's one of the offices, that's one of the seats in the Nigerian Football Federation board. That seat goes to Ahmed Yusuf Fresh. Now, North Central, we have Honorable Margaret Ichen, Northeast Alhaji Babagana Kali, and Timothy Hemen. And Northwest, we have Alhaji Sharif Rabiu Inua. Now, South, the Southeast position is suspended for now. We hear there's going to be a rerun for that region. Now, South, we have Honorable Essien Udofia and Aisha Folade. Of course, now in the Southwest, we have Sunday Ajayi and Ganiu Majakuduni. Now, this guys makes up the board of the Nigerian Football Federation. Kule, now we have some people that contested for the chairmanship that most of them feel like there were lots of anomalies in the elections that they are aggrieved at this point. But how would you rate the process?
Well, the process was good. In terms of the organization of the election, everything went on well as planned. But there was this news that the news flew in at some point that the election would not hold on that day. There was a court injunction, but the court eventually approved that the election should go on. But some section of Nigerians actually said they're going to disrupt the election, blood will flow and all of that. But we really thank God that that didn't happen in that election. The voters voted for the candidates of their choices, even though some of us have our reservations because we want a change. This case, those are the aims. For me, it's just like putting a square peg in a round hole. It's just the same set of individuals. Gusau has been the chairman of chairmen in the 8 years that Amajipini spent as the president of the Nigerian Football Federation, and he's been the one. He said it a couple of times that Gusau has been faithful to him, and this is the kind of person.
Loyalty. So it's like a reward for loyalty.
That's what we're looking at. That's exactly what we're seeing. I will also add the likes of Sheyakiumi also contesting. Sheu Diko also contested, and Peter Said-Ida. If you ask me, my preferred choice is Peter Said-Ida because he's not an in-house person. But this man, at one particular point in time, has been in the hands of under Pinnick, and they all failed woefully. Because if you have to rate the performance of Pinnick in the 8 years he spent as the president of the Nigerian Football Federation, I think for me he has performed woefully and shamefully. But since the same set, like I said, putting a square peg in a round hole.
So the recycled,
same set of play,
the recycled office.
Yeah.
Chairman of chairman is now the NFF president.
Yes.
If you are in this position before, you now hold this other one.
Sheikh was the vice deputy president. Sheikh Diko was the NPFL, the president, the chairman of the Nigerian Professional Football League, who has been. We've had, in the last 8 years, the NPFL has retrogressed massively, greatly, and it's like the league is not functioning as we speak, all thanks to Sheikh Diko, the same man who contested for the presidency, but then they have their choices because that is the candidate that Pinnick wants. We don't have proofs to all of this, but that is the feelers we're getting, and based on what Pinnick has also said in the past, that Gusau has been a very loyal and a faithful person to him. So we wait to see how things will pan out. We hope that, most of the time, our candidates in Nigeria, the most competent personnel, don't end up winning.
Never get there.
Get to those positions that we know that they will actually flourish when they get to. But then let's wait to see how Gusau will be able to, the height in which he will be able to take Nigerian football. For right now, we are at the downstream because nothing seems to be working. In the last 2 years, Pinnick looks like Pinnick has just left everything because nothing seems to be working. We hope that we'll be able to turn the fortune of Nigerian football around.
Now, talking about turning the fortune of Nigerian football around, we have to go back to development, and that has to do from the grassroots, from secondary school football to university games to age grade competition. Kunle, what are your expectations? Because I mean, if we must develop our football, not just all hands, we need a brain and a head that can think. What are your expectations with this new board?
We can say all of these things, our expectations, we've said it over and over again, but these men have their plans. So there is nothing we can do. We can only come up with different suggestions, but then we feel that they saddled with the responsibility of leading different positions. They should be able to come up with different ideas that will take Nigerian football to greater heights. So I think that, like you said, grassroots sports should be the #1 thing in their minds, so that our our football, I beg your pardon, can get back to what it used to be. But one of the things he talking about Gusau, is that he wants the league to function back effectively, to get back to what it used to be. Remember the days of Abiola Babes, ICC Shooting Stars, Nwanyao National, Bendel Insurance. When these teams play, Rangers International of Enugu, those days when these teams play, the stadium is always filled to capacity. Come on, let's add Eyimba play against any of the teams. You will see the stadium.
So what you're saying that there's a lot of work to be done.
Yeah, there's a lot of work to do. He said he's going to pay attention to the league right now. We wait to see how things will actually pan out. Well, let's give him a benefit of the doubt. Let's see how he's able to run. One of the things I also complain about during the time of Pinnick is that in times of preparation for tournaments, he's always found wanting. The only section that he concentrates on is the Super Eagles, the national team, and probably the Super Falcons. The under 17, the under 20 are always left to suffer. Like what we have. The reason why the Ghanaians got the better of us in Chan was because they started preparation ahead of time. And even presently as we speak, the under 23 team of Ghana have begun preparation in earnest. Why we don't have a team presently, they've not started preparation, and we're going to be starting the qualifying phase very soon. So this is one of the things that actually get to work against us.
Talking about Giant of Africa, sometimes we don't need to prepare too much. We have too much talent everywhere. We can call them overnight and then put them together and then kick the ball.
Football doesn't work that way, bro.
All right, man. Well, talking about Nigerian football, sometimes I've learned to just make jokes around it, and before I used to be very emotional, angry, and all of that. But I mean, looking at the outcome of the elections, I can't put my emotions on the line anymore. I'm just going to enjoy it and come back here, do my job. I mean, one of the best jobs in the world, and just have fun on set. Now, Kule, let's look at the fact that Guinea has been stripped of the hosting right for the 2025 African Cup of Nations. Now, Pinnick hinted about this. But as it stands now, Nigeria does not even stand a chance of hosting that tournament.
Because of the rate of insecurity in Nigeria. But in terms of stadia, we have it. We have everything facility-wise.
How many do we have?
No, we've got different stadia in the country.
How many?
Presently, we've got
we have Nest of Champions.
Nest of Champions. We have the Abiola Stadium.
Now we are talking about natural pitch, not synthetic pitch stadium.
Natural pitch. I think the stadium at Ogbemudia Stadium in Benin City is one of the stadiums. Then we have another one again. Is it in Namdi? We have Bronson. If I begin,
as a journalist, if you are struggling, if you're struggling to name stadiums, that is for real.
No, Bronson.
As a journalist, if you're struggling to say, okay, we have XYZ that is ready to host. For instance,
we have the stadia. We have them. We have different stadia that can actually that can host a major tournament as a side, depending on the capacity. And even when we talk about the capacity, I think I can't just get the names right now, the names of the stadia. We've got them.
That means we don't have them.
We have them, Brownson.
No,
we have them.
Maybe we have one or two.
But probably because of insecurity, the rate of insecurity in the country, that might actually work against us, because it looks like anything can happen in the trickle of an eye in the country as far as insecurity is concerned. So Pinnick, like you said, Pinnick hinted some couple of months ago that Nigeria might likely host, but CAF didn't go down well with CAF, because it was more or less like an expose. Nobody knew about this, but because by virtue of the fact that he's an in-house person, when as far as CAF is concerned, he actually came up with the news. But as we speak, only countries like I think Morocco and South Africa have a very good chance of hosting it, because when you talk about the facilities, they are ready. They are ready any day, they're ready anytime. One of the things that have also been working against us is the maintenance structure that has been a problem for Nigeria as a whole, because even when we have the facilities, we struggle to maintain them. But then I can still say that we have fantastic state-of-the-art facilities, state-of-the-art stadia in Nigeria. Brownson, if you go to the Moshood Abiola Stadium right now, when you look at the bench, I don't know what it's called, where the players sit.
It's the bench, yeah.
Yeah, the bench. It's what we have now. The facility that has been brought in is the best. It's one of the best in the world as we speak. Even some of these countries that we talked about doesn't even have such.
Lagos is like the commercial capital of Nigeria, right?
Yeah.
Which of the state-of-the-art stadium do we have in Lagos?
Yeah, no, wait, Francis. The issue is that...
Let's go to Ogun State. Let's go to Ogun State. How many do we have in Ogun State?
No, we don't. We have one. We have one stadium in is it Ashiro?
All right. So that means we don't.
In Jepode.
Let's go to
stadium. We have one in Shagam as well.
Let's go to Port Harcourt.
This stadium that you talked about are not standard. Yes, I will quite agree with you.
Let's take a very quick break now. Kule is struggling to answer simple questions like this. When we come back, more stories to come. Don't go away. Welcome back. Now, before we take you to Europe, let's give you some unforeseen circumstances that went down in Indonesia. It wasn't a good one, as at least 125 people have died in a crash at an Indonesian football match that has become one of the world's worst stadium disaster. Now, hundreds were also hurt, and aftermath of home team Arema FC lost to bitter rivals at the overcrowded stadium late on Saturday in Malang, East Java. Now, these two guys were strong rivals, and I still understand why winning away from home is a problem. Now, after that victory, the fans came out to disrupt that game, and it led to absolute chaos, beyond, or you can say uncontrollable chaos. And as the Standard report has it, that scores of people have lost their lives and also hundreds injured.
Yeah, a very sad one, a very sad development. It was a fierce battle between the two rivals, and Arema thought they were going to be able to win by virtue of the fact that they're playing at home, but unfortunately they lost that game, and the fans didn't go down well with the Arema fans. They invaded the pitch and started attacking everyone, and that was how the chaos actually started, and the police were not able to control the situation.
It was uncontrollable. I mean, let's say you have 100 policemen and then you have about 15,000 crowd. How many can you control?
It's going to be very difficult, and they were beating everyone. I watched the video. They were hitting at people, and there was a stampede. Immediately they fired the tear gas, there was a stampede, and people were falling on one another, and by virtue of that, 125 people were lost. Died. And over 320 people are lying injured, and some are seriously injured.
Now, sorry to cut you there. Now, report has it that from the hundreds injured, the casualty rate is still increasing.
It's still increasing. It's a very, very sad one. I think fans should be enlightened that football is not a do or die affair, and even those that started the round leather game, talking about countries like England, don't even, yes, there's hooliganism and all of that, but it doesn't get to this level. I remember that something of this nature happened in Africa, I think in January in Cameroon, where we lost about 8 people as well. I think the fans should understand that it's just a game. It's not a do or die affair. If your team loses today, you stand a chance of winning tomorrow as well.
But sometimes bragging rights could be very big.
Yeah, it could be, but then you still have to. Must you now lose your life because your team lost a game? There is life after football. I think people should understand that fact.
We condemn this act totally, and we hope that the World Football Governing Body would intervene and, of course, make strong action against the home side and all the people involved in this chaos. And our heart goes with the whole country and the football and sport-loving community right now. Now let's come to England. Last weekend, we saw a 9-goal thriller in Manchester, and it was between the Blue and the Reds. The Blue got it, but I think for me, the most exciting part of that game wasn't Erling Haaland's hat-trick, it wasn't Phil Foden's hat-trick, it was the fans, the chants.
Oh.
Exciting that was.
They've got 10 hang, but they've conceded 4.
I mean, 10 Hag should have considered 10 goals to make it.
It should have been 10.
Fantastic. But I mean, I don't know. Defenders have got their work cut out this season. I don't know how they'll do it to mark Erling Haaland this season. I mean, the second goal for me, his first goal, beautiful nodding. Apart from the fact that he's huge and very tall, the manner of which he converted the second goal, Kunle, was a class.
It was a class. I think the deadliest of all strikers in the world has to be Erling Haaland as we speak. We said before the start of the show, he did not have much chances in that game. I think he had about 4 or 5 chances, and he was able to convert 3 chances.
Fantastic.
And that's the hallmark of a great striker. A striker in the mode of Cristiano Ronaldo, a striker in the mode of Robert Lewandowski. These are guys that when they have the chances, they're able to convert 2.
Sorry, as a matter of fact, I saw a story this morning where someone said that Haaland is he has the ability of 3 top strikers: Ronaldo, Zlatan, and Lewandowski.
Absolutely.
Now, don't forget, when it comes to acrobat, you have a Zlatan. In terms of finishing, you have a Ronaldo, and of course, a poacher instinct. You give it to Lewandowski. All these attributes to one guy.
Yeah. In fact, I looked at one of the games I watched, the goals I scored that still beats me, Olu, is that I think
in the UEFA Champions League.
Where he had to the way he rose up and the way he converted, it was like when you are giving a flip. When you are fighting taekwondo and you are trying to hit your opponent, that was just the way he just tapped in that. I think only Zlatan will be able to score such a goal. Probably Ronaldo has scored some acrobatic goals in the past, but I think when you look at that goal, I think only players of that nature will be able to convert such chances. So I think Haaland will score a lot of goals this season. He's the first player to score a hat-trick against Manchester United. The first player to actually score as much as 8 goals, a hat-trick in just 8 games. Behind players like Michael Owen, it took him 48 appearances to be able to score hat-trick. Also, Ruud van Nistelrooy, also, it took him 59 games to score 3 hat-tricks. So you have to give it to Erling Haaland. He's going to score a lot of goals this season. If you don't want Haaland to get in the goals, then you really have to curtail the excesses of Manchester City midfielders, which for me is going to be very difficult for any team.
Very difficult for any team. Even without Haaland, they were very difficult. They now have a finisher who everything he touches turns to goal. So it becomes a big problem. So Haaland is officially the nightmare of every defender right now. If you're playing Haaland, they have to be a way to curtail that young man. But it's equally, I think the shine was taken away from the young lad who become one of the youngest player in English football to score a hat-trick. Talking about Phil Foden. I think Haaland's ability made most people, bookmakers, to play down.
He's been very consistent. I think Phil Foden also has a lot to offer. We're going to see the best of him this season, and the rate in which he converts those chances as well, very massive. I tell you, some of those chances you might actually excuse him. You might actually pardon him if he doesn't convert them. But then the way he takes them, convert them, for me is really very great. On all this on Manchester United, it really not a very good one at all. We hope that Phil Foden will keep scoring, and also I really fault Ten Hag for that loss because you've got some players in your rank and you just choose to bench them for a game of this nature, knowing the opposition, knowing what the opposition possesses in the middle of the park. You have a player like Casemiro, you have him on the bench, and you also have Cristiano Ronaldo on the bench. You have a game of this nature.
Who's a physical midfielder.
What else do you expect? You're going to lose such game when you have Ronaldo in the attack. The defenders will be scared.
But Kole, you see, sometimes it's easy to blame these coaches. We have a coach who had a 4-game winning streak with the same starting 11. Now, people are saying Eriksen is an attacking player and all of that, but he's playing Eriksen as a defensive midfielder. But the same Eriksen has flourished in that role in the last 4 games. So if he had changed it and the result was what we saw last week, it would have been very different.
Bronson, look, you play that. As a coach, you have to be flexible. You have to understand your position at every particular point in time. You are playing against Manchester City that's got flexibility in the middle of the park. They've got that dexterity. They distribute passes. Their passes, destroys the defense of the opposition. So he has to understand that fact. He has to map out strategy to be able to contain their excesses in the midfield. And that's why you need a player like Casemiro. His physical presence is needed in that game. But unfortunately, when you have Casemiro, a Champions League winner, he will battle with the likes of Kevin Bruyne in the midfield. But of course, you've got players who, for me, they did their best, but their best wasn't good enough in that game. And also, I think Cristiano Ronaldo should have started that game. If Cristiano Ronaldo was in that game, I'm telling you, as much as some of these players, Martial got back the praise, Ronaldo would have been able to score some goals in that game.
Anyway, now before I leave this story, I saw a game where Man City defender became midfielders. They were joining the midfield. That was
a luxury they enjoyed in that game. They enjoyed the luxury. They were attacking. The fullbacks were attacking, and they stopped the movement of the defense, and they put them. They had to retreat.
But don't worry, don't worry. I think some of these things will be sorted out next year when they play in the Theatre of Dreams. Just maybe we might see some of those changes. Now let's talk about boxing. Now last week we reported that the chances of Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury fighting was really very close, but last Monday deadline didn't see through. Now for me, there have been lots of passing of the box now in terms of Tyson Camp is saying it's Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua is saying it's Fury. But now the story says that Tyson Fury has urged Anthony Joshua to give British fans what they want and sign a contract for a heavyweight world title fight in December. Now, WBC champion Fury, of course, is 34 years old, has given fellow Briton Joshua, who is, of course, 32 years old, an ultimatum to sign by Monday. So he has extended it till Thursday. Now, will this deal be signed? Now, I don't know, for some reason, I think Fury is being arrogant about this game. I don't know why. And most people feel that this is a good time for every boxer to take on Anthony Joshua.
Yeah, I think he wants the bout to see the light of the day, to really see the heavyweight champion of Britain as we speak. So it's a very good time for him to actually take him on. Even if Anthony Joshua have been winning his bout, I think any day, anytime, Tyson Fury will always be a hard nut to crack for him. But then before the bout sees the light of the day, there are some certain conditions that has to be met. I'm really very delighted that Tyson Fury is ready to take on Anthony Joshua, because this will actually relaunch Anthony Joshua's career. I feel that before
relaunch, like he's going to beat Tyson Fury?
No. If he's able to beat him, yeah, anything is possible. But anything is possible when you talk about sport. But it's going to be very difficult. But then we're trying to give him a lifeline. If he's able to win that, he's launching himself back, because he has lost 2 bouts consecutively. Tyson Fury, as highlighted, is the conditions. Yeah. But it's left for Anthony Joshua to actually do his part to fulfill, to do the necessary, and then probably look at the conditions, and both of them will sign. But if one has actually been able to highlight and meet up with those conditions, it's left for the other person to also agree with those conditions. So I think that is what the camp of Anthony Joshua is having as we speak. And I'm sure that before Thursday, like you said, the contract will be signed, and we're going to see the bout seeing the light of the day. All right.
While we wait that, we hope that that bout will see the light of day. Let's lay to rest who's the best British pound-for-pound boxer. Luckily, Philip, thank you for being a part of the program today.
Yeah, it was my pleasure to be here, Brownson. By this weekend, Arsenal is going to take on Liverpool. It's going to be a very fierce battle.
Anyway, I think it's a good time. It's a good time to play Liverpool. They've been really struggling, and we hope that again, Arsenal can get something out of that game.
Thank you very much.
All right, that's our final whistle on the program today. Thank you so much for being a part of it. Now, don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms currently displaying on your screen. Now, if you're not following us on our Facebook page, it is absolutely buzzing at this time. So right now, go to our page. It's SportsPizza. Like the page, make predictions, win recharge cards. Very easy, right? Get engaged with some of our state-of-the-art content. That some of the things you think you'd like to, put your voice on the show. Most times we don't open phone lines, so go to our Facebook page. It's where you can interact with me, Olakule Philip, and our other community members. Now, for all those that have been sending us email, thank you very much for those emails. We appreciate you. So you can also send us email to the email address on the screen. Also, go to our YouTube channel, it's SportsPizza. Don't forget to subscribe. My name is Brownson Uwana. Thank you so much for watching. And until we meet again next week, please stay safe.